Army Cadet 1-star training, navigation, Ispec 6, 6-figure grid references. Navigation revision. On a printed map in centimetres, how big are grid squares on a 1 to 50,000 scale map? 2 centimetres by 2 centimetres. On a printed map in centimetres, how big are grid squares on a 1 to 25,000 scale map? 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres. How much ground does a grid square cover on a 1 to 50,000 and 1 to 25,000 scale map? 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre, or 1.5 kilometres diagonally. What are along numbers called when working out a grid reference? Eastings. What are up numbers called when working out a grid reference? Northings. To work out a grid reference, do you use eastings then northings, or northings then eastings? Eastings then northings. Remember the saying, along the corridor, then up the stairs. This lesson, Ispec 6, 6-figure grid references. Aim. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to pinpoint locations far more accurately on a map using 6-figure grid references. Introduction. The area covered by a 4-figure grid references is a kilometre square, 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre. And although this helps us locate areas in a map a lot easier than searching the whole map, it's not normally accurate enough for navigation purposes. To be more precise, we can use 6-figure grid references. Grid reference areas. Grid references give us a specific area of a map. 6-figure grid references identify a smaller area than a 4-figure grid reference. 4-figure grid reference, the area covered is 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre, or a full grid square. A 6-figure grid reference gives us an area 100 metres by 100 metres, which is 1/10 of a full grid square. 6-figure grid references. To work out a 6-figure grid reference, we need to break our grid squares into smaller parts. Here is the map section used in the last lesson. To demonstrate how to work out a 6-figure grid reference, we will zoom in on a smaller section of the map. We have just highlighted the following grid squares: 0100, 0200, 0101, 0201. Here is our zoomed in section from the previous slide. To find out a 6-figure grid reference, we first need to break our grid squares up into smaller parts. We do this by overlaying an extra smaller grid of 10 squares by 10 squares over a standard grid square. This grid then provides us with an extra group of eastings and northings from 0 to 9. The 4-figure grid reference for the square we have chosen here is 0100. Easting is 01, northing is 00. To turn this into a 6-figure grid reference, we need to use the other numbers 0 to 9. Here is the grid square zoomed in on from the last slide. We already have our 4-figure grid reference of 0100. To create a 6-figure grid reference, we need to add one number to the eastings and one number to the northings. The red dot shows the exact location of the historic battle site. Along the bottom of our smaller grid, this lines up with the number 2. This is our extra easting number. Our easting number is now therefore 012. Along the side of our smaller grid, this lines up with the number 4. This is our extra northing number. Our northing number is now therefore 004. The 6-figure grid reference for this location is 012004. Find 6-figure grid references for the following locations. You can pause the video, get your answers, and then continue when you're ready. 1. The footbridge is 011011. The picnic site 018018. Nature reserve 023009. Historic battle site 012004. And the viewpoint is 029009. Navigation tools. When working out six-figure grid references for real using a map, you will either need to imagine the extra grid over the top of your map and estimate the extra easting and northing numbers, or you can use specialist tools. A compass. This is used for other navigation tasks, but the edge of it can be held alongside a grid square to work out your extra easting and northing numbers. A roamer. This is a clear plastic card that you can lay on top of your map to work out your extra easting and northing numbers. There are lots of different roamers, some of which actually have full grids that can lay over grid squares. Summary. Six-figure grid references can be a very accurate way of giving or finding a location. Remember to double check figures in case of errors though. Practice and confirmation. How big is the extra grid applied over a standard grid square to find a six-figure grid reference? 10 squares by 10 squares. What area is covered by a four-figure grid reference? 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre, or 1,000 metres by 1,000 metres. What area is covered by a six-figure grid reference? 100 metres by 100 metres. What tools can you use to work out six-figure grid references? A compass or a roamer. To work out a grid reference, do you use eastings then northings or northings then eastings? Eastings then northings. Remember, along the corridor, then up the stairs.